only through the iris, or you want to recognize a person by using the face, okay, that is one single trait for, we call it single biometric. Okay, and the second type of biometric system, we call it multimodal biometrics. Okay, instead of one single trait, we use two or more traits. For example, okay, if you are recognizing one person by just looking at the face, okay, this time you combine face maybe with the iris, or maybe with the palm recognition. Okay, this is what we call the multimodal biometric systems, which is more accurate. Actually, it is highly accurate if compared to only single biometrics. Okay, so actually this is the process flow for the multimodal biometric systems. Okay, by using the traits, we do the pre-processing, and then the feature extraction, whatever features we want to take, either it's a mole on the face, or either maybe the shape of your nose. Okay, some people having this short nose, maybe bigger nose, whatever, like the Shah Rukh Khan maybe. Okay, and then we use that to recognize the face, and then we do the matching and then decision. Okay, so this is actually the framework for the multimodal biometric systems. Okay, actually there are, as I said before, we have many technologies on biometric systems. Okay, this actually, okay, for example, we have the what we call the fingerprint recognition. Usually in the airport, okay, you requested, okay, to put your finger, okay, while you are passing the custom or the immigrations. Okay, it is very useful. Okay, since actually our fingerprints have long been recognized. Okay, for the biometric traits. But however, there are also drawbacks if we are using only a unimodal biometric system for the fingerprints alone. Because why? Maybe if your fingers are being cut or your fingers are being burned, okay, so you cannot accurately recognize, okay, which person, which finger belongs to which person. Okay, especially in accident or any burning accidents. Okay, next, face recognition. Some of my students are doing the face recognition, okay, for their PhD degree. During the face, okay, usually we use an image or series of images, either from a camera or photograph, in order to recognize a person. Okay, there are two situations when the pictures are being taken. First, we call it still image. Okay, we just capture the images using the digital camera, or it's a moving image, like from the video. Usually the police, if they want to capture or they want to try to recognize the criminals, okay, they try to match the images, either from still images or moving images from video, with their database. Okay, I've been reminding, okay, I don't have much time left. Okay, the voice recognition, okay. There are so many other things I want to spell out. Okay, I'll try to make it quick. Okay, we also have the iris recognition. For example, if we in the airport, if we go to any big countries, like in Japan, in France, United Kingdom, where else? United States, they use the multimodal biometric systems because it is more accurate and highly secure. Okay, for example, when I was in LA several years ago, okay, they take out my thumb print, my palm print, my face, and also iris, my iris. So meaning that I already have the, they already got my data in their database. So next time when maybe I did something wrong, so they can easily capture me. Hopefully not. Okay, so I try to make it quick. Hand geometry. Okay, signature. Signature, we have the analog, digital signature. Okay, And actually, signature is not very strong biometric systems. Because why? Anybody can mimic your signature. Anybody can copy your signature. So it is not very strong. And DNA. DNA, of course, is one of the strongest because although there are some researchers on the fake DNA, okay, so there are so many things to talk about DNA. Retina recognition or iris recognition is one of the most secured biometric tricks. And thermograms. Thermograms, if you are watching, for example, the movies, from Western movies like CSI, they do this a lot, thermograms. They take the body heat from the human, okay, and then they scan it, okay, they do some patterns on it, save into their database, and do the matching. Okay, ear recognition. Okay, I try to make it quick. Okay, lip motion. Okay, lip motion is, okay, we compare the characteristics because different people have the different moving of their lips when they are speaking. Yeah? And then the gait. Gait is a moving. Okay, we try to recognize people when they are walking, for example. Some people, they are taking long stride one time. But some people, they are maybe taking only a short stride one time. And surprisingly, okay, from the researchers, gait recognition actually, we, as the human being, okay, we have actually the standard pattern of how we take the stride. Oh, okay, time's up. Okay, I try to conclude my talk, okay. And I think, just a quick conclusion. Okay, multimodal biometric systems are more reliable, are more secure compared to unimodal. And there are a lot of researchers that the researchers are doing right now on these multimodal systems. For example, we heard about the Smartcity. Okay, I'm personally interested in this project. Okay, I think, but maybe one of the factors that need to be considered is about the security. Okay, so with that, I conclude my presentation. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Susilawati Muhammad. Very interesting presentation. And now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Abby Tan Chi Hong to present your papers for about 10 minutes. Please.
Thanks, Your Excellency, Director Generals, Presidents, Rector, Vice Rector, respected fellow speakers, academics, ladies and gentlemen. Very good afternoon. Salam sejahtera, selamat pagi. Firstly, I would like to thank Universitas Terbuka Indonesia and Indonesia Operational Research Association for giving me a chance to speak to all of you. Okay. Well, while waiting for my slides to come up, I'll do a quick introduction to Brunei. So, my name is Abby. I work in University Brunei. My area of research is actually in financial mathematics. But more recently, I've been doing multidisciplinary research, particularly in maths education. Okay. So this is where Brunei is. For the benefit of those that don't know where Brunei is, we're actually in the island of Borneo, surrounded by two Malaysian states of Sabah, Sarawak. Okay? We're actually a very, very small country, only 5,000 square kilometers in land size. Okay. Still, we are about 10 times bigger than Singapore in terms of land size, but 10 times smaller in terms of population. Our population is only 400,000. Okay. Okay. So 70% of the country is pristine rainforest. Okay. Okay. So some quick facts about our university. We were established in 1985. We're the premier university in Brunei. Okay. So we are comprehensive. We offer most courses except architecture and law. So we have a liberal styles education with a lot of flexibility. So students will take only 55% of modules in their major area. So the remaining 45%, they have to go into other faculty to take the module. Okay? So one unique feature of our degree is that we actually embed student mobility or internship into the curriculum. So students have to do 1 year of student mobility or internship in their third year of studies. Okay? So in terms of research, we are a high-intensity research university as officially recognized by QS. Okay? So as you know, QS is the popular ranking agency now. So this year, QS ranked us 349 in the world. So that's the first time we break into QS world ranking. In terms of young university, we are ranked 37 in the world. So these are university under the age of 50 years old. Okay? So our research strength is actually in biodiversity and energy. Biodiversity because Brunei, again, is very rich in rainforests. In fact, we are one of the biodiversity hotspots in the world. Okay, so if any of you are interested in research collaboration, feel free to approach me. I'm happy to be a matchmaker for yourself and my colleague in the faculty. Okay, so today I'll talk about currency return, focusing on Singapore-Malaysia exchange rate. Okay? So why I choose this pair? Because it's actually very close to heart. So some of you might know that Brunei dollar is the same as Singapore dollar. We are pegged 1-to-1. Okay? So this agreement dated back 30 years ago. Okay? So we can actually use Brunei dollar in Singapore and vice versa. Okay? So the strength of Malaysian ringgit relative to Singapore dollar is of immense interest to many Bruneians, simply because Bruneians like to hop across the border and do some shopping in Malaysia. Okay? So Brunei actually share a common border with a few Malaysian towns in East Malaysia. Okay? So globally speaking, the foreign exchange market, or Forex, is the biggest decentralized market for trading of currency, totaling over 5 trillion in daily transactions. Okay? So of course, anyone can just buy currency, any currency. Okay? Just go to your local exchange rate dealer and you can get any currency from there. Okay? Okay? So one of the most popular or heavily traded currency pairs, Euro US, British Pound US dollars, and US dollars and Japanese yen. Okay? So not surprisingly, US dollars is the most on-demand currency because it's actually the reserve currency for the world. Okay? So most government will actually hold a massive reserve of US dollars. Okay? So that's the graph for the Malaysia-Singapore exchange rate for last 15 years. Okay? So I'm going to do some analysis on this in a while. Okay? So before I go into my analysis, I just want to talk about more on the currency exchange rate. Okay? What actually determines the strength of a particular currency? Okay? So there are many factors, even more now today than before. Okay? Thanks to advancement in technology and globalization as a whole. Okay? So perhaps the single most important factors that determine a currency strength is the economic factor. Okay? So if your economy is strong, generally speaking, your currency is strong. Okay? So strength of economy is reflected by positive reading in GDP, unemployment status, balance of trade, etc. Okay? So interest rate and inflation also have a significant influence on currency strength. Okay? So as a rule of thumb, countries with high interest rate tend to have a stronger currency because there's more attractive investment opportunity available. Okay? Due to high demand in that currency. Okay? So higher inflation rate, on the other hand, tends to reduce the currency strength because the goods from that particular country is more expensive, so demand is less. Okay? So of course, things like political factor will affect currency strength. Okay? So needless to say, if a country is unstable politically, chances are their currency will also be weak. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll talk about the random process before I actually go into the analysis. Okay? So random process is actually a process that we cannot predict. Okay? Or we call it stochastic process in mathematical terms. Okay? So I'm trying to summarize my talk. I actually prepare for a 30 minutes presentation, so I'm trying to speed up now. Okay? So there's two types of stochastic processes. So again, stochastic means random, or cannot be predicted. So one is short memory, the other one is long memory. Okay, so in layman term, long memory, as the name suggests, means the market has good memory. So it remembers what happened in the past, and because it remembers any event that happened a long time ago, will have impact on things today or in the future. So that's what we call long memory. Short memory is the exact opposite. The market don't remember. So what happened in the past will not affect what happened in the future. Okay? So that's effectively what short memory means. Okay? So mathematically, the difference between the two processes lies in the behavior of the correlation process. Okay? So for short memory process, the correlation between two events decrease exponentially. Okay? Okay? It decreases exponentially and rapidly to zero. Okay? For long memory, the correlation between the two events decreases much more slowly to zero. Okay? Because the correlation of short memory process decreases rapidly to zero, the sum of the various correlation is finite. Okay? For long memory, the sum of the correlation is infinite. Okay? 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 So the most common example of short memory process is the gauge process and its various modifications. Okay? So these are heavily used in the financial market. Okay? Okay? Okay, so one example of in continuous time, we use the standard Brownian motion. Okay? So that's actually just movement of smoke particle. Okay? So it's random. Okay? So we actually applied that to finance. Okay? 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 Okay. I'll go straight to the point. Okay. So long and short memory actually, this idea actually originated 2,000 years ago. Okay? From the observation of River Nile. Okay? So it's observed that 7 years of famine, whereby water level is low, is followed by 7 years of high water level due to frequent heavy rain. Okay? Okay? So long and short memory was first applied to hydrology. Okay? Okay? In 1900, it was applied to finance. Okay? Okay? So in 1973, Black and Scholes actually incorporate this short memory model into their financial model. Okay? And because of that, they won a Nobel Prize in economics in 1993. Okay? 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 I'll move on to the currency. Okay? Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to test whether the exchange rate have long memory or short memory. Okay? Okay? So what I'll do is I take data spanning 15 years. Okay? So daily exchange rate, I use it for 15 years. Okay? So there's about there's close to 4,000 data. Okay? Okay? So I create 64 series, and from each series, what I do is I'll try to deduce a very important parameter. Okay? So this parameter is called the Hurst parameter. Okay? Okay. Okay. So if the Hurst parameter is 0.5, it means 3 minutes. Okay. So just to cut a long story short, if the Hurst parameter is 0.5, it means that the market has short memory. Okay? Okay, which means it's totally random. Okay? If the Hurst parameter is greater than 0.5, it means that the market exhibit long memory. Okay? Which means there's a pattern in the behavior of the currency market. Okay? 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 Which you can predict. Okay? Okay? So what I did is I create a series and I plot a very simple graph, okay? Which I can show you here. Okay? So on the y-axis is the log of the range over the standard deviation of the data. Okay? Okay? And on the x-axis is the log interval. Okay? Okay? So the gradient of the graph will give you the value of the Hurst parameter. Okay? So Hurst parameter is actually, it tells you whether the market has long or short memory. Okay? Again, I repeat, the Hurst parameter is the gradient in this case. If the Hurst parameter is 0.5, it means the market has short memory. Okay? If it's greater than 0.5, means it has long memory. Okay? So for my result, I actually showed that the Hurst parameter is 0.4633. Yeah? So on the first glance, we can automatically eliminate the notion that the market has long memory. Okay? So what I did is I did a statistical t-test to show that this value is no different from 0.5 okay? At a 1% significant level. Okay? Okay? Okay. So for my hypothesis testing, I actually did show that we can actually accept the hypothesis testing that the value of Hurst parameter is 0.5 okay? With a 99% level of confidence. Okay? Okay? Okay. So with that, I conclude. Okay? So what I say is that for the Singapore-Malaysian exchange rate, there's no pattern. Okay? The movement is completely random. So any shock to the currency market will die out quite rapidly and will not have a lasting impact. Okay? So in future, I would like to test or apply these long or short memory properties in other financial market or even other systems. Okay? Okay, for example, one of my collaborators in UK actually applied this random process to model bacteria movement. Okay? He's still unable to show whether the bacteria movement exhibit long or short memory, but he was able to identify a trend or pattern in bacterial movement. Okay. So with that, I end my talk. Open to Q&A later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Abi. And now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Pirayut Jamshed Tikul to present your paper, please.
Hello and Selamat pagi. Is that correct? Sawadee krap, that's Thai. And good morning, everyone. And thanks for the Indonesia Society of Operation Research for inviting me to share some of my work. I would say in summary that most of the work that I'm doing with my student is we're trying to find the problem that have complexity that go beyond the use of the regular software to solve. It means that you need to add something, some either mathematics or computer programming knowledge to do it. And actually this work I did with Kun Atit Udom Sangwarakun, okay, and I'm from the Department of Industrial Engineering, Faculty of Engineering at Kasetsart University. The title of the talk about the three, actually very old technique. If you study linear programming or mixed integer programming, you heard about these three techniques. The Danzig-Wolff, actually column generation also start the term from Danzig-Wolff decomposition, and also the Bender decomposition, as theoretically you know that it's a duality of the Danzig-Wolff. Okay, we show that all these three techniques can be used as a hybrid approach to solve what we call the multiple diet production planning under uncertainties. Okay. We go to maybe the diagram in the short detail that actually Thailand is an agricultural country, and our main product is we produce food and also we need to feed the pigs and hens and to produce chicken and pork. And to be able to feed them, we need to buy. I think that for those of you who teach basic operation research, you always refer to the problem as a diet problem, the feed formulation, the feed mix problem. And the motivation that we found about this problem is that the real data that you found from the industrial point of view, when the industry purchased the raw material, either the fish meal or cassava meal, whatever, they always test the qualities of their incoming products. And also they apply statistical tools to analyze, and they know that in the industrial version, the nutrition values of each ingredient is not constant. But if you refer to the mathematical model of the diet problem, the classical one, we also assume as a deterministic model, which means that we would use the average value or the most likely the value. Okay, and so the question come to our group is that if we trying to add this uncertain data to the model, what will be happen? And also we combine this problem to the inventory planning problem also for the industry. Cut it short, we formulate the whole problem as a, we call the semi-infinite linear programming problem. Okay, probably my presentation contain so many notation. Okay, and you can see that we have an infinite unknown because the variable x mean that the possible recipe to feed the animals. Okay, and also we add some uncertainty for the Q variable. Okay, that's become the parameter Qs that you for in each period of time. Okay, it's uncertain that you're not sure that how much total product that you want. Okay, and also that's the first one is a raw material constraint. The second one is a finished product constraint. Okay, when summation of x is the total output, the mix, the feed mix product. Okay, and also we add the uncertainty for the demand, the parameter d sub kt, and this one is a main problem for the planning. But the key problem is the coefficient of a sub ijt. Okay, that need to be solved by the classic. I couldn't move it down. Somehow it didn't. Oh, okay. The parameter a and the cost coefficient c sub jt, coming from another linear programming. Actually, this is a classic diet problem. You generate the x superscript jt x star to be the coefficient of the previous problem. But this one we add some uncertainty of we call the raw material matrix, the value of each nutrients in each ingredient. We add the uncertainty. And the capital N for S equal 1 to N is can be very large when you have more ingredient and more nutrient to analyze. And somehow it can lead to a very large problem that the regular software, whatever you want to use, either Cplex or Solver, Gurobi, whatever platform you were trying to use, it will reach at one point that the problem become unsolvable. Okay. It didn't go. I don't know what happened. Okay. I'm trying to go. That's a classic diet problem, right? We find the proportion for one unit. So the whole process is we have an infinite possible of the feed mix formulation, and as a master problem, and this it didn't go, didn't work. Oh, no, that's okay. This one better. We approximate them by discretizing the infinite alternative to a finite alternative n, and then we find the additional column. That's the column generation, trying to similar to the classic column generation problem, and it becomes the two problems that to solve the approximated finite space problem, there's some possibility that we can use Danzig-Swoop decomposition. Why the sub-problem of generating a new column has actually formulated as a classic, we call the two-stage linear programming problem, that we can use the direct Bender decomposition to use it. This a little bit technique. I don't have much time to explain, but we the main results about all of this is that we're trying to solve the master problem by rearrange them to a dual form, and with this dual form, okay, this is already in the form of Danzig-Swoop decomposition. It means that for each sub-problem you you transfer the solution to the master problem and written them as convex combination. Okay, and this is some part that make the approach highly successful. One of my doctoral students, has been able to find special purpose algorithm to solve this type of problem. Okay, he have the rule. It means that you don't need to spend time to solve this problem using direct linear programming problem. It's a constructive rule and you can get the optimum solution very quickly. And this type of problem become a sub-problem within the Dan6-Wolf decomposition. Okay, so it is well solved, and we can accelerate the computation time. And not only that, for a larger scale problem that cannot be reached by regular software, this approach can be able to solve the problem. For the sub-problem to generate the column, we used Bender decomposition. Again, very technical detail to formulate the problem. Okay. Actually, you need, Mr. Atit did all of this PowerPoint. Okay, well, I'm only very technical, but to make it visualizable, you need a new generation with a good skill on PowerPoint. Okay. Let's just say that for the sub-problem of the Bender decomposition, we found that the sub-problem become a trivial solution. So again, we can save time to solve the problem by considering only the coefficients in the objective function. And again, in the red zone is we call the optimality cut part of the Bender decomposition to do it. Okay. Actually, I already implement this on the Excel file, and I'm not sure that they want to show it to you or not. But if you are interested, you can make a copy. We do a VBA macro to demonstrate, to work on the whole model that we already show. Okay. But the model is, the macro only trying to generate one column at a time so you need to resolve it again until we reach the optimality condition. Okay. And certainly it's in the start of the process. I think now today, even in the real world industry, the probabilistic approach, the stochastic programming model still have some limitation, and it takes time to convince the management to replace the old classic deterministic decision support system. Okay, and certainly this is based on academic results and some real world data. So my conclusion is that the whole problem that I use is a formulation from the classic two-stage linear programming. If you study stochastic linear programming, you know the meaning of this technical term. And also, certainly, we all know that the column generation always helps us to be able to solve large, especially many variables, to a smaller problem. Okay, but certainly the disadvantage of decomposition is that you need always want to decompose them and make the sub-problem easier to solve. If you don't get that result, decomposition can be very tedious and not working. Okay, within a limit time, I'm trying to let you understand what we've been doing. Thank you very much.
Please give a big applause to Dr. Chan Setikul. And now for Mr. Nguyen Fitrang, please.
Nice to meet you. First of all, I would like to say thank you, all of you, for giving me a chance to be here to present my presentation. My name is Nguyen Phi Trung. I'm from Ho Chi Minh City of Technology and Education, Vietnam. So today I will talk about the topic, some opportunities and challenges in operations research. And And now I would like to tell about the agenda or the content. The first is overview. Secondly, opportunities in research, operations research, challenges, operational research models in Vietnam, and finally is conclusion. So the first overview, I want to briefly introduce what is operations research. Operation research, this is analysis and optimization of business decisions using mathematical methods. As you know, sorry. As you know, many companies, big companies all over the world like Walmart, Google's, any industry from energies, medicals, and stock market, using models to operate their companies. Okay, so they always apply operations research in their companies. So next I will talk about the role of operations research. So in the past, you know, data is not information, and information does not improve our decision making. So and operation research allows companies to transform data into better decision making. So nowadays, operations research had new roles. We can say the first, competitive. It can give us more competitive advantage, business optimization, unlock the value of information. How about the opportunities? So chains are moving towards, and some opportunities are listed here. The first is increase data faster, computers better, algorithms, lower fixed costs, and service applications. As you know, nowadays there's a lot of channels for us to collect data, and data is more and more developing. So it's very challenge for us and to research. Also, we also have more. We also have faster computers, supercomputer. And this helps us to solve a lot of things in operations. One more thing, algorithms are getting better also. From in the past, we don't have much algorithms. Nowadays, we use a lot of algorithms from many softwares like Excel, very simple, and Cplex now. And the speed also have us increase and combine algorithms and computers. However, as you know, the cost for optimization is not high. If in the past, big projects just for big companies like fighting World War II, for airlines, screw traveling, and material planning at 4. But currently, we can use and apply operation research in everywhere. And we can use more software to optimize our company. Now, new areas of applications. Traditional view of operation, we just focus on manufacturing and services. We can say limit to just transportation and logistics, but nowadays, with the new view operation research everywhere, and the services are more great opportunities. We have the graphs show the rise of service economy from the early 20th century to 2017. Yeah. And next is the specific operation research opportunities. We can apply in a wide range of fields like healthcare, financial services, energy market, and mass media. And beside opportunities, we also have some challenges. The first is impacts and challenges. We have more bright future for our practitioners. For example, many more jobs, new application areas, and some challenges you can say here: new application areas, large-scale problems, real-time, data-driven, yes, etc. Challenge 1. I would like to discuss about challenge 1. This is about the scale of the problem. So in the past, companies face just small problem, more small scale problem. But nowadays, with the development of society, we have to face a lot of things. So the problem become bigger. Yeah. So when the problem become bigger, we need to optimize by using many softwares and algorithms. Challenge 2, you can a professor have just discussed, that is uncertainty in manufacturing. New application will demand better handling of uncertainty. For example, delivery. I would like to talk about delivery from the depot to somewhere. So we have a lot of routes. How to manage well the route. Okay, next. About the algorithm. Previously known good algorithms may no longer be applicable and suitable. As I say, nowadays the problem become more complicated. Yeah, not simple like in the past. So we use more complex algorithms. Okay, this is an example of traveling salesman problem when you want to deliver something. Yeah, the problems are hard to solve, so we need more algorithms. One more example. In China, we have more than 70,000 cities. So how to make a route to those countries? Yeah. We have a milestone from a research team. And we need advanced algorithms more. Okay, thank you. Now, I would like to show you operation research model in Vietnam. As you know, the potential use of operation research models and methods in transforming Vietnam into a developed country, because Vietnam, until now, just a developing country. And at a very basic level, Vietnam needs to evolve robust methods and procedures by which key projects can be well planned, executed, and managed. And you know, PDCA's Plan, Do, Check, Act is a good way, should be routinely used at the implementation level. Okay. And now we properly identify this evolution into 3 stages. The first stage, the application would primarily focus on identifying feasibly manageable options. The second is a efficient use of technology and knowledge-based good try the managerial choice. And the last one is operation research model would guide decision making in the context of competitive environment. Case study. In the case study, I can tell you the 3 stages of the developing roads, bridges, port, airport, or building power plants, railways network, with the 3 stages I have just mentioned. Okay. And now this is my conclusion. Operation research models are developed to enhance performance, to create more profit. And the second, in order to enhance the role of operational research, so we need different stakeholders work closely and complement each other to develop. And the last one is optimize policy responses, and its implementation would bring positive changes in the social, political, and economic environment. And that is my end of the presentation. Thank you very much.
Give a big applause to Mr. Trang, please. Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, due to shortage of time, I don't want to summarize all of the presentations. But one should be noted that how important and useful of the mathematics, especially in the area of operation research, for our lives. Because almost all of sciences areas use the mathematics model in commerce, economic, medicine, biometric, business, and almost all of our lives use mathematics model. But honestly, in our country, most of our students don't like mathematics subjects. That is very ironical. But if our math teacher can tell or explain how important, how useful, and how interesting the mathematics subject for our lives, I believe our students will be more interested in mathematics subjects. And now, we have about 10 minutes for discussion. I will give for the participants, for 3 participants to ask question or give a comment or something like that. Please, or Mr. Diki, and then Pak Krida Sakti, and any others? And last one. And then, if you don't mind, please introduce yourself, and then to whom and to whose speakers your question or comment will be appointed. Please, Mr. Diki.
Thank you. I'm Diki from Universitas Terbuka. My question is for Dr. Muhammad about the human biometrics. This method of human identification is very accurate and precise. It is very useful for us. But my question is, how do we keep the confidentiality of the data. I'm afraid if something happened and suddenly the data is disclosed accidentally and something happened. How do we keep that it is still confidential? Not everybody know somebody else data about private data, something about that. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. My name Wahyu. I'm from the Faculty of Politics and Social Science at UT, Universitas Terbuka. My question goes to Associate Professor Dr. Fatma. That's really, big curiosity comes to my mind after you presenting your article. My question is that how possible, this technology can be utilized for these university database, especially to scrutinizing the students, especially when they're going to take the examinations. For your information, that we are in here, Universitas Terbuka, is having more than 500,000 students, and then all of them have to take examination. So how this technology can be used, concerning the efficiency and the effectivity wise, have you reckoned the cost effectiveness of this technology, that visibly can be implemented in here? Thank you.
Please, Tony.
Thank you. My name is Tony from Bogor Agriculture University. I have two questions. My first question goes to Professor Chan Sentiko. In your work, you use column generation algorithms, an approach that best used when we have very much or very large number of variables, but just a few number of constraints. Could you remind us how many variables do you have and how many constraints do you have? And one more question. One disadvantage of column generation approach is that it is difficult to identify whether or not our problem is appropriate to be solved by column generation. Could you tell us your early step of your works, how you identify your work and then you come up with the column generation? That's my first question, and my second question goes to Professor Fatma. You talk about biometrics analysis. Could you tell us what kind of optimization aspect we will have in this field? If there are any optimization aspect, how about the complexity? I mean, in course scheduling or in vehicle routing problem, we usually have NP hard problems. Thank you.
Okay, for the first, I give to Dr. Fatma.
Thank you for the questions. I have 3 questions on me alone. I try to answer it. Actually, question number 1, 2, and 3 is similar. Actually, if you want to do any biometric systems, okay, of course, okay, like I said, there are 2 types of biometric systems. First, we have unimodal biometric systems, and I actually, in my talk, okay, I just give a little bit of advantage and drawbacks of the unimodal biometric systems, and the second one is the multimodal biometric systems, and that's why in order to overcome the limitations on the unimodal biometric systems, we need to come up with a more reliable and more secure systems, okay. which is most researchers nowadays are turned into multimodal biometric systems. Okay, because they need to combine 2 or more biometric traits in order to identify the human being. Okay, so and I think more or less we need to have a more reliable system, which we opt to choose the multimodal biometric systems. And relating to the security, actually, okay, there are some issues actually on the biometric systems. For example, spoofing. Maybe there are somebody else who are not an authorized person, okay, who do the authorization process. Okay, so in order to overcome this kind of problem, we need to have a solid database, okay, and also we need to have a more reliable system, which is integrated systems. Okay, for example, if I think maybe we have one lecturer here from UT for the third question, I guess. Okay, talking about the okay, cost effective. It is actually, if we try to adopt a new systems, okay, of course, there are pros and cons, especially when we are talking about installing a new system. Of course, it will involve cost, okay. But to me, okay, in order to solve a long-term problem, okay, regarding the human biometric, for example, for the students, okay, like UT have, like I heard, is about 300,000 students altogether, right? Okay, in order to recognize the students, you need to have a good integrated systems, okay, with a solid database, okay, which is more reliable and more secured. Okay, I hope I can answer 3 questions altogether. Okay, thank you. Okay, of course, okay, the next question, I think maybe I missed this one, the optimization complex, right? To solve the complexity of the human biometrics. Is that what you asked, sir? Okay, okay, actually, okay, of course, we need to have, for example, okay, I give you one example. For the gate recognition, okay, you want to identify the police, the authority, they want to identify the criminal, okay, by using the moving objects, moving images, okay, by video surveillance. Of course, some of the images on the video itself is not sharp enough, so you still cannot recognize, okay, the one person. Okay, so in this case, you need to sharpen the images. Okay, you need to do some what we call the pre-processing. If it is in pattern recognition, usually you cannot run from the image acquisition, and then you need to take out the extraction or do the pre-processing in order for the images to be recognized. Okay, so of course, okay, when we talk with a new technology, there are pros and cons that we need to handle. Yeah? So I think, okay, I hope that I answer your questions. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Professor Trang, please.
Okay, I hope I can still remember the question. You did, thanks for the question. The study problem that I proposed to you is already, as you see in the first place, is have the infinite number of variables. So the column generation automatically, you're not going to formulate the infinite unknown problem, right? But before reaching to the right to use column generation, you need to prove before. Actually, I didn't show there's some math problem about the duality gap on case of semi-infinite linear programming. In this case, you have infinite number of variables with finite number of constraints. But you did ask that normally you have a few constraints, and then as compared to the number of variables, those type it fit with the column generation, and And for your basic study, the best case that we normally teach in the OR course is the cutting stock problem, the one-dimensional cutting stock problem where the number of variables increase in the combinatorial nature. And also, if you found the problem that have so many constraints also, and have so many variables, too large on both sides. Actually, column generation can apply to both. If you can apply that, make the problem too many variables become a few by cut out some of the column for consideration first and make sure that the remaining column can generate a feasible solution. And if you have so many constraints, you can transform that in the dual form. That many constraint problem become many variable problem. So it's a kind of double use of the column generation to solve a really large LP in case of you have both on both sides. I'm not sure that did answer your question. Okay. Thank you very much.
Dr. Tony, is enough? Okay, thank you. I want to underline the question of Mr. Wahyu Kridasakti. I want to inform you that our university use a distant learning program or e-learning, we use e-learning, and now we plan to apply online exam. So relate to Pak Wahyu question to Dr. Fatma, it is very important for us to use the retina or iris recognition system to make sure that our student is our real student to take online exam, not other people. So it's very interesting. Maybe I will recommend our president to invite Dr. Fama to become our consultant here in UT. Okay, ladies and gentlemen and honored guests, due to our time is up, I apologize because I already postponed your lunch time, and I hope we enjoy the presentations. Almost all our presentation is very interesting, and then to reach our knowledge and insights. And then please give a big applause to 4 of our speakers. Thank you very much. Now we ask to Mr. Suciati.
Yes, thank you. Another word of applause for all the speakers and the moderator, Dr. Agung Sastramputra. Terima kasih. Can you all please stay on stage? We would like now to kindly request Professor Sudrajat Supian, the President of IORA, to present tokens of appreciation to the speakers. We invite the chair of the organizing committee to accompany for the presentation. And now for the certificates and a photo session. Can we have a group photo, please? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. And with that, we conclude all of our morning programs. The afternoon session will be the parallel paper presentations in the breakout rooms. For those presenting their papers who have not yet given their slide presentation, please do so by contacting the committee at the lobby. Terima kasih kepada Profesor Sudrajat Supian dan kepada Dr. Agnes. Kami persilakan untuk kembali ke tempat semula. To all the speakers, we kindly invite you to take your seats. And thank you once again for the interesting plenary session. Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, kita akan beristirahat dan akan kembali pada jam 1.30. Kita tertunda memulai sesi paralelnya dan nanti acara penutupan nanti juga akan mundur setengah jam. Kita akan closing nanti pada pukul 4. So ladies and gentlemen, we will now break for lunch. We expect that all of you to be back for the paper presentations in the breakout rooms with the invited speakers at 1:30 p.m. And the meeting of the IORA team will be held in the VIP room. And for the others, our guests and participants who are not in the meeting, please enjoy your lunch. Solat disediakan di lobi bagi yang akan solat siang. So please enjoy your lunch and be back at 1:30. Thank you.